Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling with Platinum versus AEW Dynamite for July 29th, 2020. A couple of things I want to talk about here at the beginning, because I would imagine most people listen to the beginning, and that's where the big points are made. Here's my big point of the night. The lead-in for AEW Dynamite was Talladega Nights, a movie that kind of fits in their demographic. It's a movie that people know. The lead-in for NXT was NCIS, a show that skews, when you look at the people who watch NCIS, the numbers skew incredibly old. And then, after NXT, it was, oh my God, what was the movie? It had Denzel, but it was just not an incredibly popular movie, and AEW, after their show, has a sci-fi thing. Again, it's just, all these things seem to be begetting and moving in AEW's favor. I had Talladega Nights on in the background with the volume off as I was doing other things, including prepping for this, and what I noticed was there was a number of ads for AEW, and they're going with this thing called a new league, and this idea of rules are made to be broken. Again, young, upstart, rebellious. It's really great. And when you look at the WWE's motto, then, now, and forever, it feels monolithic, old, and tired. Just little observations there. Again, do any of these things lead directly to ratings? That's debatable, but I think there's sort of a zeitgeist going on with AEW right now. That's not to say that everything's perfect. It's not to say that there aren't, I've often called for an adult in the room, and I still do, but not too shabby. So we've got AEW Dynamite. We've got their great opening, which I like a lot. It's colorful, it's bright, it's not very long, and it leads us right in. A little pyro intro. And we get Chris Jericho's entrance video, and our commentators are Tony, JR, and Taz. Excalibur, notable by his absence. And I'll say no more about that. That's something to be discussed later, perhaps. But we're opening with the Inner Circle 5-on-5 against Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus, who come out with Marco Stunt. Something else I noticed is JR's constant call, and Tony Schiavone, people wash their hands, but JR always says, wear your masks, folks, and blah, 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 blah. Again, is this a big deal? I think it's one of these things that sets the tone. That AEW is going to be a certain kind of promotion. That AEW is not just going to give lip service to concern about their audience. They're going to show it. It is weird when they pan the people who are the de facto audience for AEW, and the first group are all wearing AEW masks, and then the second half aren't wearing anything. It's really stupid. I mean, just do it. If nothing else, to give a unified message that's going along with what JR is telling us. Just saying. All these little things add up to big things in the end. And WWE has found out that a bunch of small mistakes end up having big effects in the long term. A lot of the stuff that I talk about is symptomatic and not the ultimate disease necessarily, or it's, periphery stuff, but it does indicate the health or lack thereof of the promotion. And right now AEW is doing so many things right. I really do root for them. I root for wrestling in general, but I'm really rooting for AEW to get as many things right as possible to put themselves in a position to be a true second choice. Because you're not really a true alternative until you are completely viable. In any case, my overall note about this match is sort of the epitome of things that happen with AEW in general, which is there's a great deal of energy, and it's something that they have over the WWE, but at times it's a really unfocused, kind of sloppy energy. And some would argue that you can't have one without the other, but I think you can definitely direct your energies a little better. This match is a fucking mess. And in retrospect, it's good that it went first, because it probably did what it needed to do, which is to get a lot of attention to stop people from switching channels right away. But it's a fucking mess. I mean, it makes it's the things that people don't like about AEW, put them front and center, which is, what the fuck is the referee there for? It just makes the referee look stupid. Jim Ross can't stop himself from talking about it, and frankly, I don't blame him. It's fucking ludicrous. It's fucking ludicrous. And guys like Jericho who are in this match have to fucking take the lead on this shit of like, God, it's fucking bad. I mean, it's to the point where it's distracting away from the stories they're trying to tell, because you're like, this is fucking pointless. It really gives the feeling of being inconsequential, which WWE has in a completely different way. And I don't think AEW wants to be another side of the coin of feeling inconsequential. Matt Hardy interferes, which feels very unearned. I guess the deal is with Sammy, and thank goodness the commentators there to explain. Yeah, because Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy had a thing, and I guess they're going to continue it. And Luchasaurus gets the pin on Sammy. Okay. All right. Is that another reason that this went first? Is because the Inner Circle knew they were going to take the loss, and so if we put it in the first match, it just doesn't matter as much? I don't know. Go to commercial. We're going to have Darby and Moxley against Cage and Starks. Okay, that's going to be our main event. Great, established. Moxley with another really good promo. Really good promo. I found it strange that we did promote the MJF is going to speak thing, but I didn't see it by and large touted in a big way, in the same way that I didn't really see the Jake Roberts versus Arn Anderson promo touted in a big way. That's probably an opportunity missed. Then again, the MJF promo wasn't all that and a bag of chips. It didn't really have a ton of quotable moments and things like that. It was an attempt to go in that direction, and it was fine for what it was, and certainly the main gist of what came out of it was certainly effective and strong. I wasn't blown away by the segment, but we're going to get to that. We run down the card. I noticed I did not get a text from Cody saying when his match was coming up, which is the first time he's missed that since they started doing the texting gimmick. That's too bad. It's a little detail missed. I hope they don't miss it in the future. Whoever's supposed to take care of that kind of thing, fucking take care of it. Warhorse against Cody. I was pretty familiar with Warhorse, but I made myself more so when I saw this match was coming up. They get the split screen, which shows a level of respect for the Warhorse Cody thing. It's really good. Warhorse sells the leg. The match wasn't filled and rife with surprise, which is fine. It's good. It was a good match. Warhorse's leg got hurt at some point. He ends up tapping out to the figure four after getting to show off a great variety of his offense. Perfect. The Dark Order is going to attack en masse. The Elite is there to back up Cody, but oh boy, the Dark Order surprises them by having a bunch of guys come out of the crowd in masks. And it looks pretty dubious. Some of the Dark Order guys are so fucking tiny. It looked a little funny to me. That's just me personally. But Matt Cardona, the erstwhile Zack Ryder, comes out, makes the save. Looks like $1 million. I heard a lot of debate amongst the pundits saying, he deserves this chance. It's not about deserving the chance, but can AEW successfully reinvent himself to sort of shed that Zack Ryder thing? I think this was a good move in that direction. And the jury is out, and we will wait and see. That's a lot of AEW stuff that people want to opine about and make an immediate judgment on. A lot of it is wait and see, and AEW has shown that they can make things work. So I'm curious to see if this one will. And we go to commercial. And we have Tony Schiavone talking to the Inner Circle. Matt Hardy's brought up. And again, I think this is one of those promos that will get forgotten in a sense, but it's a very good one. And Jericho gets across 2 bits of information. In 2 weeks, or he's going to have a rematch with Jericho Cassidy 2. I think it's smart. And next week, he wants to have a debate. Now, this may be just because it's the kind of move I would have done in PCW, where I have a debate with a guest moderator who we don't announce, and like we build up this nothing thing to be a thing. But I really like this. I really think it's smart. Then we have a bit of FTR signing, which there's things I liked, things I didn't like, but at the end of the day, it got across what it's supposed to get across, which is FTR is a big deal. And, you know, they get in a little tag rope joke in dedication to Jim Ross, I'm sure, and that kind of thing. Third match, we're going to have the main tag team of the Dark Order against Omega and Page. We go to commercial after the Dark Order gets to the ring. And then we come back, and the gang's all here. Brody Lee's there with Colt on commentary. Colt doing a really good job of putting together a mildly difficult and complex thing, which is I'm not with the Dark Order, but I'm so appreciative of what they do. And look, I get to be on commentary, I get to be on Dynamite. Even the other commentators who were sort of downplaying it, which is, again, why do the fucking commentators work against what they're trying to do all the time? It's so stupid and unnecessary. But Colt successfully defends himself and says, no, I'm happy to be on Dynamite, you know? And Anna Jay is there, first time we've seen her in a long time. Was she one of the coronavirus people who AEW successfully kind of buried under the rug? If so, good on them. Smart. We go to split screen for this tag match. Not a lot happens during the split screen. They do a lot. Omega and Page win in a relatively clean and easy match. Again, it's nothing wrong with having these. I'm glad AEW is going away from this formula of every match has to reinvent the wheel. And sometimes just having a match that establishes the champs is strong. It's perfectly acceptable. Then the Dark Order are going to attack and force, but there's the Elite. But then they're going to get screwed. But then FTR comes and decks Brody Lee, and we're off to the races. Is this going to lead to an FTR against Brody Lee and Colt thing? We shall see. Britt Baker does a promo. Her stuff is really hit and miss, but they keep plugging away at it, which I appreciate. And this one's okay. And the idea is Big Swole's going to pay, and so she has to, if she really wants to get a hold of Britt Baker, she's got to go through an opponent of Britt Baker's choosing at a future date. All right. Commercial. Diamante promo. They do a good job of setting her up as much as they can against Hikaru Shida. I would expect, I write in my notes here, hopefully Hikaru Shida wins very cleanly and displays her ability to, that she didn't really have before, but she's showing that she has now, which is the ability to carry an opponent to a good match. Not that Diamante's completely terrible, but certainly I haven't been impressed with her outings on Dark. And her match against Ivelisse, while okay, was people who have wrestled each other 5 million times. JR goes out of his way to demean the indies during this match, which is really weird. Shida's punches are phenomenal. I would dare say she throws a better punch than any woman wrestling for a major right now, which is something. Again, wherever you can beat your competition, you beat them. Shida wins. Yay. The women's tag team cup thing, which just seemed like a mess when they described it last week. Apparently it's something that's going to happen on YouTube. Great. Something else I got to fucking cover AEW, but I'm very happy to do it. And they're doing it on Monday night. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Starting an hour before Raw starts. Fucking clever cleaver, motherfuckers. It's random draw. It's all this like indie-tastic shit that I hate, where you random draw tag teams and whatever. But I mean, if you relegate that thing to YouTube and you get some angles coming out of it and it makes the women's division look better coming out of the other side, why not? We got Nyla Rose there with Vicky Guerrero. And then Ariane, the erstwhile Tactile or whatever the fuck. She's shown up now, and apparently she's going to be teaming with Nyla Rose as they're drawing colors, and they both got purple. Okay. MJF with this big build-up as he's being preened upon as if he were a presidential candidate. He's going to give his State of the Industry speech. Split screen of him acting like an asshole. And then his speech, which is fine. The long and short of it, his like shooty shoot stuff, I guess it addressed a bunch of elephants in the room, and it's that Mercutio effect that I talk about, whereas somebody brings something up, then the audience doesn't have to dwell on it. So, whether it's calling Moxley a Stone Cold ripoff or that WWE's old and tired, okay, sure. And then he brings up the fact that he wants a shot at Moxley, and here's why. Okay, long and short of it. John Silver, another Dark Order person, are going to take on Cody, and I don't want to call him Zack Ryder. I'm not going to be disrespectful, so I'm going to look back at my notes. Matt, going to take them on. Awesome. MJF, going to have something else to say next week. Yes, notice AEW is now more and more connective tissue between the shows. It's very smart. And we're going to have a clusterfuck of a thing of the Dark Order with Colt Cabana, 6 of them in total, against FTR, the Young Bucks, Hangman, and Omega. And JR pleads, got to have 2 referees and blah, 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 blah. Again, something you wouldn't need to do. Hopefully they correct the referee clusterfuck thing. Please do that. Please do that. You can fix it in 1 match next week. Please do so. And then, of course, we also promote the fact that we're going to have the Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy debate next week. And then they're going to wrestle the week after that. Great stuff. We go to commercial. We come back. No DQ Texas Tornado. They make that incredibly clear. Mox and Darby against Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. There's no Darby. Well, Mox is there. Ricky Starks getting a chance to cut a promo. Taz hands the mic over, and you know what? Ricky Starks does a great fucking job. Great job, Ricky Starks, on the promo. As they go out for their entrance, Darby Coffin drops them from the top. They kind of miss most of the camera shot with this thing. That's a bummer, because AEW usually doesn't miss it. I mean, they did hit the coffin drop itself, but not the fact that Darby hit them from up top. I think they would have that one to do over again if they had to do that camera shot over again. This match is a lot of brawly, brawl. We get a split screen. The important part, skateboard with fucking tacks on it to Ricky's back. Holy balls. Now if they lay off thumbtacks for a while, that would be in order. But this definitely warranted it. It was in the main event. I think the right team went over in the right way. Good stuff. And then what did we establish at the end? It's going to be Mox against Darby for the title next week. So pretty solid outing. And AEW continues their streak of putting on shows that build upon one another and yet feel like events in and of themselves. Not bad. Anyway, this has been Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dynamite from July 29th, 2020.